Okay, so today I'll be talking about more obscure pieces of Dragon Ball media. If you don't know, I made a video similar to this around this time last year. And this is a continuation of that video. If you haven't watched it, don't worry, you don't really need to know about it for this video. Even if you know these entries, I hope you still enjoy this video anyways. Let's get started. Okay, so the name is pretty self-explanatory. So the GT live show was a stage show that was shown on January 3rd, 1997. It takes place after the Shadow Dragon saga, so basically it's a continuation of GT. And the basic outline of this is that Don Key, the guy from the Black Star Dragon Ball saga, is out of prison and is looking for revenge against Goku and his friends. But now he has a new sidekick from Legix Race, but more importantly, later on in the show, we see the return of Cell and Frieza, with new transformations for both of them. Now, I wish I could go more in depth with the plot, but as someone who doesn't speak Japanese, I can't really tell you much more. But before we move on, it's been heavily speculated as this could have been a future plot point in the GT anime if it didn't get cancelled. But if you want to know more about it, I recommend you go watch Kanji Needs Coffee video on the topic. I'll link it in the description below. Now, you might be wondering, what is Dragon Ball the movie? Isn't there like 17 of them? Well, you would be right, but this movie is actually 2 movies combined. Let me explain. So, sometime in 1998, Solar Home Entertainment decided to make a Filipino dub of Broly's Second Coming and Bio Broly. And they would combine them both into one movie, and it was released theatrically in the Philippines, and later would come out on VHS and VCD, which is kind of like DVDs, but not kind of like them. It's a whole thing. But the one weird thing about this movie is that I'm not sure if it's even official, because if we look at the packaging for the VCD, it has no Toei logos it's all Warner Bros. And if we look at the back cover, we got a plot synopsis of the beginning of Z and a picture of Gohan from the BoJack movie. But it was released theatrically, so who knows, maybe it was official. But if you want to watch it for yourself, the whole thing's uploaded on the Internet Archive with really bad quality. But I don't think it's worth your time at all. But while I'm on the topic of Filipino dubs, there's another one made by a different company called Creative Products. And it combined both cooler movies into one called The Greatest Rivals, just like the Solar dub one. This one was also released in theaters, and for a time it was also available in really shitty quality. Until a few years ago, fellow YouTuber Fomicom found a VHS copy and remastered it and uploaded to the Internet Archive. He has an amazing video going over the process, finding the tape. I'll link the video below if you want to watch it. Who knows, maybe someday Dragon Ball the movie gets its own remaster. Okay, so for our last entry, we are going back to before Dragon Ball even existed. That's right, we're going all the way back to 1983. While working on Dr. Slump, Toriyama was also working on 2 manga that would eventually become Dragon Ball. One of them being Dragon Ball and the other one being The Adventures of Tonpo. I'm not going to go very in depth with these entries, since I believe this topic could be its own video one day. But just to provide a brief summary, Dragon Ball is about a kid named Tang Tang. He is tasked by Roshi to take this princess that looks extremely like early Dragon Ball Chi-Chi back to the homeland. Along the way, they encounter different enemies. We also get introduced to early versions of characters like Mercenary Tao and Puar. And one pretty cool fact, it also includes an early version of the Dragon Balls themselves. You see, it works by placing it on the floor and hitting it with all your ki to summon the dragon. Now for Tangpo, it starts off with Tangpo getting stranded on a random planet, where he meets a girl that's obviously supposed to be an early version of Bulma, and she is stranded because of an alien that killed her crew. So later on, the two beat the alien, and the manga ends with it promising more adventures, which, if you think about it, in a way did come true with the beginning of Dragon Ball. Well, that's it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And since this is probably the last video of the year, Happy New Year's. This is a pretty big year for the channel, even though I barely uploaded. I still appreciate the views I got and the growth I got. Hopefully next year will be a better year for the channel. And yeah, make sure to follow me on Twitter and join my Dead Discord server. And I will see you guys whenever.